DNVR Broncos live on yet another rainy day here in Denver.
Man, welcome to the Pacific Northwest, I guess.
I mean, the Nuggets embarrassed the Suns so badly that it's just never coming back to Denver.
Yep, I think it's coming back tomorrow when the Western Conference Finals start.
Poetic.
Yes, it really is. It really is.
It is time to start thinking about that. I try to just ignore it for a couple days and just relax. It's for real.
Yeah, weekend
you were able
off.
to ignore it and relax.
You have to. There's just no point in stressing yourself out. It was I tried really hard yesterday just to be okay, it's going to be fine. Don't think about that. There's plenty of time to think about it. You're just going to make yourself a mess.
I'm not stressed about it. I just have so much hate in my heart.
Yeah.
Wow.
So much.
Ryan, in the words of Nathaniel Hackett, there's no room for hate in this world.
There's so much room for hate in sports. And I hate the Lakers so much.
Well, then it's extra poetic that the rain stops tomorrow to not be creating more lakes in this city as the Lakers come to town.
Yes, because as we know, Los Angeles, very famous for its lakes.
Didn't they get the name because they were originally in Minnesota?
Yes.
Yeah. That's weird to carry that name over.
It is.
Very weird.
That is dumb. Should change it to oceans or something.
It's almost as bad as the Utah Jazz.
There's nothing worse.
No jazz there.
No.
Yeah.
There's got to be a lake somewhere in California.
Yeah, there's
Definitely
a couple.
is. Yeah.
There is no
Indian
jazz
Los
in Utah.
Angeles, though. I'm not quite sure about that.
Yeah, I don't think so. But anyway, that's all I've been thinking about. It's just how much I hate the Lakers.
Man, all I've been thinking about is the Centura Health Training Center.
I actually believe
Flows off
that.
the tongue, right?
By the way, a belated Mother's Day to all the moms out there.
Absolutely.
Especially my mom and
My mom.
almost especially your guys' moms.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you guys celebrate yesterday?
My mom was actually just I don't really feel like doing anything today. Let's do something later this week.
Okay,
Right?
there you go.
Sounds good.
Later this
Your
week
day.
plans.
You get to make the call.
It's very true. Had a great dinner with my mom last night, and happy Mother's Day.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess we start there. Centura Health Training Center.
There you go. The new naming rights. And this deal, we found out from UC Health, which was the past partner, that the reason it's no longer UC Health is the Broncos just got a way better deal from this mystery company. Today we find out it's Centura Health Training Center, and also going to take on their health care for the Broncos. And this, I was told...
They better at repairing ACLs?
You'd hope so. Yeah. This, I was told, is just... It's one of the most significant deals the Broncos have ever made. That Greg Penner hit it out of the park. That Greg Penner, the fun and games are over with Greg Penner. Pretty much everything to talk about how big of a deal this is in terms of, and when you think of how big of a deal it is, you think of the cash. So this deal must just be absolutely massive.
But again, there's no numbers. So it's not like I can say, wow, they hit it out of the park. It's they say they did a great job.
Yeah.
I guess we'll trust them.
They could have said they did a great job on the Russell Wilson deal.
Yeah. Imagine if we just never saw Russell Wilson play, or we never
and we never knew what the compensation was, or what their what they were paying them.
Let's say it was presented to me as, remember how the deal with Empower Field went?
Yes.
How would you describe that in your own words?
Well, are we
Ryan?
talking about that deal or the
7 years?
absolute mess that was the lead up to that deal?
I think both. I think they're kind of both in the same stratosphere.
I would legitimately go so far as to say it was embarrassing.
And I heard this was the exact opposite.
I believe that.
And I do, especially from a monetary standpoint.
Yeah.
But also, I remember shortly after the Empower deal came out, it came out that the Broncos just got fleeced by Empower. And of course, that was after, like you said, years of embarrassment of not having a stadium, having an Sports Authority on the stadium, even when they weren't paying, then a year or two of it being Broncos Stadium. So really, all this means is the official name of the place you're going to be going for training camp is Centura Health Training Facility. And that the Broncos just got a lot wealthier, so I'm sure everyone's happy for them.
Can't wait to head on down to Dove Valley this summer.
That's like so Centura, they just own a bunch of hospitals, right?
Yeah.
That's basically how it works. Okay.
The
So I'll make
healthcare
sure I'm not
system,
missing
right?
anything.
Yeah, I think
It's like,
so.
okay, makes sense.
Yeah.
Which is like, I mean, I guess that's what they paid for.
While
I
we're-
asked the question. Now I know what that is.
right.
I've heard of it.
While we're here,
No.
we might as well just like get out of that stupid Empower deal. Like Greg Penner, just like figure it out.
The thing is, though,
buy
like,
out of it and then just get a massive deal from someone else.
Also,
From
it's just
Walmart.
like it's not a cool company based on their reviews. It's not a good company, and it doesn't sound cool.
It's not a sexy product. On top of it, they like have a mini deal with the Chiefs, and the colors are
like
like the
that.
Patriots.
Yeah.
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 It's all
I will
bad.
say though, like, I don't think they're trying to pinch pennies on the stadium deal. Like when they go negotiate a new one, they absolutely will. At this point, when they look at it and say like, oh, we're dropping a couple $1 million a year. Well, damn. Like we'll deal with that when the time comes to deal with it. That's also why, because
But
I
I
think
just want Greg Penner to get bored and just be like, I'm lighting this deal on fire and I'm gonna go get a new one.
okay. They also had the thing where it's like we're donating $100,000 to charity, which that's the part that I like.
To the Broncos charity.
To the Broncos charity, which makes sense. But I don't know. It's again, I don't think they need to necessarily be pinching pennies. So why not just say like, yeah, give some to our charity and we'll do good things. Like that part of it, that is I do like that.
All right.
I don't
think
care
that's all we need
too much
from
about
that.
the rest.
Broncos got a lot richer today. And according to Sean Payton, they're going to get a lot richer on the field way earlier than anyone thought. This was the biggest takeaway. Wasn't about the rookies over the weekend. And what we're referring to is Broncos rookie minicamp happened this weekend. They allowed media to watch practice for an entire day. They allowed media in the locker room to talk to the rookies. And we also talked to Sean Payton. But before we talk about the rookies, we got to talk about what he said, Sean, about Javonte Williams, which he just gave up on. He gave out this information on our own. He wasn't asked about Javonte Williams' timeline. Alyssa, can we get that pulled up from Sean? So this was Sean talking about Javonte.
Is this the 13-minute one or the 4?
I think so, yes. Yeah, it's the 13-minute.
We've got a few here we're looking at this camp. I feel real good about our group of veterans that are here in the building. You know, when we signed Samardzija, this is a guy that gave us, you know, flexibility. We know that he can play and be an every down back. Our current starters are doing extremely well. I would tell you that we expect him to be ready for the start of training camp, and that's good news. Javonte, yeah, his rehab's going well, and I don't want to speak for him or Bo or anyone else, but we get the daily reports. So, and look, we're pretty tight-lipped relative to information going out, but I've read a lot, but I think his rehab's going well. Yeah, I think. Look, I think there's a good chance that, you know, if a player's not ready at the start of training camp, he goes to PUP. We're hopeful that he's someone that that might not have to go to PUP. So that's good news. And in the meantime, the rest of these guys we're looking at closely, and I'm getting to know them. You know.
That's just Sean right there, just putting it out multiple times that he expects him to be ready for the start of training camp, which is 2 months away.
That whole time, it really just sounded like there was something he really, really, really wanted to say. Like say it really, really badly, but then just couldn't say it. And it's just like, I can't say this. And so I just got like, I got to talk about it this way and that way. And I have no idea what that thing could be because he said, like, we think he's back. But I don't know. It was just kind of a strange thing.
I kind of think that's how he sounds every time he talks.
True. Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
He's always just hiding a secret.
He said we're pretty tight-lipped around here.
Yep.
And we don't typically let information get out, but he's listening to us. He's
Exactly.
reading everyone talk about how typically this injury is at least a full year, if not 14 months, if not 18 months. You see, I believe Carson Wentz had a similar injury. Obviously, we've talked about J.K. Dobbins. They both take extra long to get back on the field, specifically J.K. Dobbins. And when he did get back, he then had to miss some time after initially coming back. And Sean's clearly saying that's not the case with Javonte right now.
This is shocking.
Yeah.
That's the number one word that comes to my mind is shocking. I saw a couple people online being like, wow, and the media told us that he would never be able to play this year. And it's like, well, we're just using historical context.
Best information
Right.
we
Yeah.
have. And
Yeah.
now we have this, which is much better.
It's much better, but I guess my biggest question after this is shocking is how much do you believe it? Scale of 1 to 10, your confidence that Javonte Williams will be on the field for the first training camp practice.
Like a 2.
Yeah, I mean, it would have been a 0 before Sean's comments. Again, we're 2 months out. I wouldn't have been shocked if we heard this in January, and we kind of did hear it at the Combine when George Paton said, yeah, we're hopeful that he's going to be ready to go week 1. And then the closer we got, the more it kind of diminished, and George Paton's comments changed about it. And now we've just gone back to 100. In fact, even further than George Paton ever went. And the fact that we're 2 months away, I'm going to say a 4. I still would just be shocked if he's on the field at the start of training camp.
Let me put it this way. I would be shocked if he was on the field at the start of training camp if he had a normal torn ACL.
Yeah.
Right.
Because
yeah.
what week did that happen in?
That
4.
was like first week of October.
Yeah.
So that's basically the early timeline for a normal ACL tear.
Yeah.
Is
Yeah.
8 to 9 months.
Yep.
Yep.
But we're talking about the whole shebang. And that's what scares me here is I need to hear them tell me we were actually wrong about how bad the injury was or something like that before I'm I'm not what's going on here?
Yeah.
Because I can't get Terrell Davis's words out of my head as he sat right here in this chair and said, my number one advice for Javonte is to not rush back. That's the biggest regret of my career.
Right.
And so it's this weird position to sit in here because I'm like, hell yeah, if Javonte's back, that almost changes my outlook on the season.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That's how
That's
good
a playoff
he is.
team.
Without a doubt.
And the other side of me is whoa. You kind of hit one out of the park getting Javonte Williams in the second round.
Yeah.
Don't undo that and have it be a 1-year wonder because you rushed him back from injury. It's a tough place to be.
At the same time, though, you can't give running back second contracts,
Yeah.
And you've
that-
got 34 games left.
I wouldn't be surprised if Sean Payton has that kind of, bless you, savage of a look on things.
Exactly.
He's like, get him ready.
That might be Sean Payton, but George Paton gave a second contract to Dalvin Cook when he was at the Vikings. Maybe that was completely out of his hands because he was the assistant general manager, but he
True.
did that with a second-round pick that had played well.
Yeah. And there's a fine line. Where do you draw the line on how good a running back is before you give them a second contract?
Right.
And Dalvin
And-
Cook's pretty damn good.
And the other big thing here is that, has there ever been an ACL where the recovery wasn't ahead of schedule? They're always ahead of schedule.
Until they're
This
not.
this is some would argue 12 months ahead of schedule.
It's really
exactly.
true.
But it's ahead of schedule now, but then, he's at 95%, but then it takes 2 months to get from 95 to 100. So I don't know. It's definitely exciting, and if Javonte's back, it changes the season, but I'll believe it when I see it.
Now,
So I was going to say my confidence is a 1.
Yeah, I'm a
Okay.
2.
And I will be willing to change my entire outlook on Javonte Williams if he's out there for the first training camp practice.
and then out there the second week of training camp as well. Meaning that it holds up.
But I've just seen it so many times where it's okay, he's actually really, really close, but he's just going to start training camp on the PUP. We're just going to make sure.
Yep.
And then, that just snowballs.
100%. We see it every year with someone,
yes.
whether it's a starter, whether it's a backup, whether it's honestly multiple players. Now, to Sean Payton's credit in terms of backing his words up, they've backed it up with their actions, only signing Samaje Perine and then nothing else. I for sure thought they had to add someone else, whether it was in the draft, whether it was in free agency, and they are signing someone from the tryouts over the weekend. But still,
Patrick.
yes, but I mean a very low-end deal there. So they're backing it up because I do not believe, and Sean Payton talked about Samaje there, thinks he can be a first, second, third down guy, thinks he can do it all. He's 240 pounds. He's rarely played in over 50% of the snaps, let alone rarely had over 10 carries in a game. If you're basing your entire identity on Samaje Perine and trying to run the ball as much as they want to, and it's just on Samaje, that's just a massive gamble. So that just, again, makes me just a little more confident in Javonte. But when I say I'm confident, a little bit more confident he's going to be on the field week 1, I'm still uncomfortable as can be about it.
Okay, so let me throw on the tinfoil hat here. Sean Payton said, we're a tight-lipped organization or whatever, something along those lines. And then he voluntarily offered up this information.
Yeah.
Is there any reason, say, Dalvin Cook, that he would want this out there for negotiating purposes? Like you don't have us backed into
That
a
is
corner
true.
because we only have Samaje Perine and Javonte Williams is coming back. He's going to be ready for the first day, not even the first week, first day of training camp. Our running back's going to be ready. Like, we just like Dalvin Cook because of George's history with him. We're not desperate.
Yeah. I mean, if they want Dalvin Cook, that would be a smart thing to do, to bring up Javonte's actually fine on his own. The other thing that could have happened is he's really sick of hearing us say Javonte's not going to be back until the middle of the season, and he's so sick and annoyed of it that he was like, you know what, you guys didn't even ask, so I'm just going to say we're going to stop this right now. He's gonna be just fine.
I would normally say a coach wouldn't know what we're talking about, but he totally does.
Yeah,
he knows everything.
He's very, very dialed in.
Very online.
And for me, man, that would just be, it's dangerous to put a player like that and in that position if he's not ready to come back. One, of course, what that can do for the injury, but two, trying to rush him back, especially what Terrell Davis told us. I wish I wouldn't have rushed back. I wish I wouldn't have rushed back. And if they are rushing Javonte back, I just hate it so much. Honestly, I don't want to see him out there the first day of training camp because everything we know from what the medical community has told us about this injury, and Terrell Davis, guys that have gone through similar injuries, not even one that as intense, say, take your time. It could make sense from some part of a Broncos sense to be like, no, we just want to rush him back and get him there.
Yeah.
But from Javonte's standpoint, don't do that. Now, maybe Javonte is this medical anomaly, and it's just, and he really is okay. I just am skeptical that's the case.
I'd be curious what the fastest ever recovery is from what we were told was his injury, 'cause now I'm questioning that.
Yeah, and the thing is, though, I don't think there's any reason to doubt what the injury is, because wouldn't they want to say, like, oh, after the surgery, turns out it wasn't nearly as bad? Wouldn't we have got that information months ago?
I would think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But remember, like, when the injury happened, the number that I heard thrown around the most was 18 months.
Yeah. Yeah.
18 months. We are currently at like 6.
Yeah. Which is absolutely crazy. I mean, a year would be the middle of the season, would be October. Henry's doing the math here.
Like 8.
Okay. 8.
But still. Yeah.
So 10 would be
training
first
camp.
day of
Yeah,
training camp.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's about half the number that we originally heard.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Which is wild, but their actions are kind of backing it up.
Exactly.
No,
and
totally.
that's where something is going to happen. Like either Javonte is going to be back or they're going to add another back, because it is crazy going through there. Because like if you don't start the season with Javonte Williams, say you carry 4 other backs, you say, okay, Samaje Perine's one of them. Tony Jones Jr. is somehow a lock. Tony
Yeah.
Jones Jr. is basically a lock
Yeah.
to make. He had 2 carries last year.
Yeah, he's
he
had
had
a
8
handful
carries
of
the year
carries
before
in his
that.
career.
And he's
You'd take Latavius Murray over him 1,000 times out of 1,000.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then after that, you're like, well, Demaria Crockett, his best college season was with Drew Lock as his quarterback, and he hasn't done much in the NFL. And Tyler Beatty, like he had that nice
kinda
run at
excites
the
me.
end. Yeah, no, I know he excites me. The undrafted rookies, Jaleel McLaughlin, he's sick. Like, I don't know. I've got some hot takes about him. Even Emmanuel Wilson, the other one, is just like a 220-pound, 4.5 runner. He's also sick, small school. So like, but you're looking at 2 of either the undrafted guys, Jacques Patrick, who they just signed, Demaria Crockett, or Tyler Beatty. which is kind of a crazy group. And that's assuming Tony Jones Jr. with 10 carries in the last 2 years is locked.
Bad.
Yes.
On
Massive
football-wise,
wild
yeah.
card.
Football-wise, it's bad. For me personally, if we get Jaleel McLaughlin and Emmanuel Wilson running around out there, I'm going to be pretty hyped.
I'm just like honored to be on set with someone who has hot takes about undrafted rookie running backs.
Seriously.
I got a little bit bored at various points in Wyoming, as people do in Wyoming.
Usually, I won't make that joke. I won't make that joke.
Okay. And so I did do a little bit of deep dive on some of the undrafted free agents, and I am pretty hyped about a bunch of them.
You were only in Wyoming for like 2 days, and you got bored
You got
enough
all
to
the
do
way to
some.
undrafted free
Wow,
I
that
just
that is.
all of a sudden it's like, just pull up the YouTube, just look at the
What were
highlights.
you doing? What brought you to Wyoming?
Eddie had a lacrosse tournament.
How'd
Yeah, I watched
she do?
a bunch of girls across. They won their first 2 games, and then they lost to Bozeman.
Ooh, you hate to see that.
You do. They won state last year, which is like an issue. But then also, and then Jackson Hole was the last game.
Okay.
But they actually, that was a really close game. I think they wound up losing by 2. But they lost to Bozeman the championship last year because they're part of the Montana Lacrosse Association, even though they're in Wyoming somehow.
You've given far too much information.
But yeah, I did see 7 moose.
There you go.
Okay, I thought that was like a movie the way you said it.
No,
It really does sound
So
like
there was that, but
a
I did
Jackson
also-
Hole original.
Yeah.
Seven
Went and saw a
moose.
little matinee.
Seven moose. Yeah, I just bring them into the theater.
You say how you're honored to be on set with someone that dives this deep. I'm honored to be on set with Breckenridge Brewery, and
yeah.
especially the Avalanche Amber Ale. Again, didn't really think that May was the time for Avalanche Amber, but it is. Unfortunately, the Avs aren't playing, but you can celebrate the Nuggets with an Avalanche. Then you can go right into their Nuggets beer, and then might as well finish off the night with Broncos Country. And tomorrow night, this bar is going to be on fire with the Western Conference Finals, and the Breck Brews are going to be flowing. If you can make it here, you're going to be drinking Breck Brew. If you can't make it here, but you still want to be having Breck Brew while you watch the Western Conference Finals, watch the Nuggets beat the Lakers, go to breckbrew.com. At the top of the screen, there's a beer finder, which will help you find beer, not just in Denver and Colorado, but all across the 48 continental states. So check them out, breckbrew.com, the official beer of DNVR.
And also, check out Bolo. If you want a Bolo. It's bowling day.
Yes, it is.
It is.
Has
day,
the
big day.
squad been selected yet?
Is it 8 p.m.?
I don't know. I literally hit the thumbs up 1 second after Lindsay put it in.
Wow.
Man, he
That's how
gets
ready
one
I am.
win, and he's just
Yep.
jonesing.
Wow.
Yep, the squad is set.
So
it looks good.
What's the guarantee that you're giving us tonight? Over, under? So you were
You
148
don't give
last?
guarantees every
128?
time.
Oh.
Yeah, you do.
Well,
149.
then just make it low.
Yeah, you
140.
do.
Say
Yeah.
you'll break 100.
Oh, no, he can't do that.
I mean, if you want to be a win.
If you want to impress us, you got to go over 150. So not a guarantee. I'm not saying
should
you have to
improve.
guarantee,
Yeah,
but yeah,
I feel like I should
we're
be
looking
on-
for improvement.
I feel like I should be on the upward swing.
If
Yep.
that's all we're asking for Tony Jones Jr. improvement
Yep.
this year.
Significant,
Have
yeah.
three carries this year.
Last time, so I talked a little bit about Ray, who's on one of the other teams. He's a DNVR
Yeah.
OG. He has like the real balls, like the
Whoa.
the-
Yeah, wow. Are they big too?
Whoa.
It's huge.
Firm?
No,
Wow.
Whoa.
8 pounds?
He has like the
Whoa.
like you can like go and get a bowling ball custom made to like the way you bowl,
Wow.
and he has that, and I hate the way that it makes me feel.
Like inferior?
I'm just like, I have to get this now if I want to be good at bowling.
But you have a ball.
Yeah, but mine is literally like $100. Like,
It's expensive.
Yeah, it sounds like it.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure the good ones are like 300.
Okay. Okay.
It's just like mine's is like a plastic like. It's no better than the ones that you get at the place.
But
It
what
just
is a
looks cooler.
custom? What is a? Does it fit your fingers differently?
So the custom ones, they put like a weight in it based on the way that you bowl.
What? Like in a certain spot?
Yeah. So if you want it to spin more, then you like put it over here, so the weight kind of like tumbles.
Wow.
Yeah.
That seems like cheating to the rest of us. Yeah. Yeah.
I found a $10,000 bowling ball.
Like, could you imagine if good golfers
clear.
just had?
So, anyways, yeah, I'm envious of his balls.
Yeah. Yeah. You are envious of his big balls. His big expensive
You
balls.
gotta take it to the
It is a big. It is.
Yeah. If you want to see Ray's balls, then sign up for
Stop.
Bolo Sports.
Can't do that.
Can't do what?
Say those things.
You were just saying like you wanted to see it. You want whatever. I don't. I don't know. Volo is awesome. For $20 a month, you can play in unlimited pickup games and drop-ins and tournaments. There's bowling and there's cornhole and there's basketball and flag football. There's all the different sports. And they have leagues all around Denver, and even in like Arvada and Aurora and Inglewood and all those other places too. So get your Volo Pass, which you can also actually get the beta version for $10 a month for 3 months, and start playing in leagues today. The registration has ended, but you can still get the pass.
Well, you can get the pass. The thing about the pass, like, it's great for everyone, but let's just say like you're single, you recently moved to Denver. Volo
Trying to find
pass,
a bowler.
That's
it's
so
just
true.
like a team's like, oh, we have a free agent.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yep.
Yeah.
They have your wife on it.
Oh,
That could be.
wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not only it's an unofficial dating app,
Low-key,
extremely unofficial.
I mean, honestly, it's so much better than a dating app.
Yeah.
What
You
sport?
get to meet people in real life and see if they're athletic.
While doing something
The
to
two
make it less
questions.
awkward.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really true.
What sport do you think has resulted in the most marriages?
Oh, great question.
Bowling might be
So
up there.
Yeah.
But you got to be playing the sport, not just watching it, right? Or do you get
no.
Okay.
I think maybe Volo specific.
Okay,
List
That might be a
Volo
small sample
list
size.
me
has
all.
resulted in
List me
most
all the
marriages?
sports.
Okay.
No, don't actually.
Okay, because we'd be here.
They
a
have a lot
while.
of drinking sports.
Yeah, that probably helps.
Yeah.
Well, maybe not marriages, but helps with some other things
Yeah,
probably.
like the beer pong might be a bit too much.
They have
Maybe like
beer
bowling
pong?
makes more sense. I think so. I mean, they have everything.
Wow.
Honestly, though, like if you meet a girl who's really good at beer pong, like that's massive green flag.
Massive green
Uh-huh.
flag.
But small red flag.
Yeah, it could be. It could be. You have to be the judge of the flag size.
So there's
all-
kickball, volleyball, soccer, pickleball, softball, basketball, dodgeball, event, flag football, cornhole, yoga, bocce, mini golf, bowling, skee ball, bar games. I was starting to think I was wrong. But futsal?
Futsal. Yeah.
No idea.
I'll see if I can find a picture.
I believe that's the one that's volleyball with only your feet.
Wow,
Oh.
that's something. Yeah, Jared just said, "What the hell are you talking about?"
We don't know.
Is that a good way to get back on track?
Yeah.
But before we do, got to give a shout out to Evan. Went to Steam Coffee yesterday.
Okay.
Have you been there?
No free ads, but that's fine.
Have you been there? You would like it. Local coffee shop.
it's kind of
It's like a real.
Between here and my house.
No. Yeah. No.
Okay.
It's not.
Are you sure it doesn't have multiple?
In Platt Park? It might. It might. I'm pretty sure it's a Denver company though. Evan, the barista, gave me a great coffee. Listens to the show.
Oh.
So shout out to Evan.
That's the best. It reminds me of like that scene in Fight Club, when he comes over to take their order and he's like, "Clean food, please," because he knows him.
Wow.
That's what it makes me
Now
feel like.
I got my.
I feel like Brad Pitt when people recognize me at restaurants.
Yeah. You get recognized often, like Brad Pitt, similar level.
I don't, you're putting me in a position where I have no choice but to flex here. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, on the Brad Pitt level. Okay, let's hop into more things that we learned from rookie minicamp, and how about some speed rounds of what we learned? We just talked about Javonte Williams' health. Randy Gregory has been at the offseason workout program. He's doing well. He's in good shape and doing well. So according to Sean Payton, everyone's doing well on the injury front, which is kind of typically what you hear this time of the offseason.
Yep.
I was in Wyoming just watching, and that came up, and I was like, "What's up with Randy Gregory again?"
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh yeah, that's right, that's right." And that's just what happens. Is it's like you can't even remember because it's just like, was it the shoulder? Was it the knee? No, the knee was second. And you just go through like the whole thing every time.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's really true. So he's doing well. That's good. On the field, though, Drew Sanders, not just doing
yeah.
well physically, looking great. We're at number 41, which we found out these numbers were just given to these guys. So the disgusting
what you
numbers could go away at some point. We found out.
Yet Spence still got his number 37 Riley Moss.
Yeah,
jersey.
he did.
That could be a classic.
When Riley was asked about that this weekend, he said, "Yeah, that was just given to me. I think we got to earn our numbers or something."
Mm-hmm.
So Spence might have the only
Spence
37 Riley Moss jersey.
He had a
That'd be
great spin.
sick.
He said he wants to have the only
Yep.
37.
Yeah.
Yep.
Riley Moss.
I don't even know if Riley Moss will remember that he ever wore 37
Yeah,
in many
I'm
years from now.
I'm like very different about that. Like when Kyle Freeland came to the majors, he wore 31. And then after like his second year, I think he changed to 21.
Yeah.
And I was about to buy a 31 jersey. I'm like, why is this on sale? And then a guy told me, he's like, oh, he's changing numbers. He saved pretty much my life. And I was like, oh, okay, well, now I have to wait for the new one.
Yep.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like, so he's 31. While he's 31, obviously great jersey to have. While he's 21, it's awkward to have the 31. But after he retires, then the 31 becomes cool again.
Great point.
For an Iowa guy, it makes sense to get the 37.
Because you're a massive Riley Moss fan.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Like, if you're just like, I'm like a Broncos fan, I think this is the guy I want to rep. But like, if you're like diehard Riley Moss, why not?
I believe it was Guns N' Roses who said, all we need is just a little patience.
Wow.
Wait,
I don't know that I trust Guns N' Roses.
fair.
I don't know if I trust that was actually Guns N' Roses.
Also fair.
Yeah.
You just said it with so little conviction.
Really? I feel like I was really convicted.
You're like, I believe. Oh, maybe you were just saying it poetically.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't pick up on that part. But Drew Sanders, just an app. So I guess the takeaway from that is probably wait to buy rookies jerseys.
Yeah.
Unless you want a custom vintage one day.
Yep.
I will say 41 on Drew Sanders is kind of nice. Like he kind of
It
plays a
looked better
41
than I
game.
thought.
Yeah.
He's like ripped enough that he can make most jerseys look good.
Yeah,
That could
and
be it.
I'll tell you, when we talked to him after practice, he didn't look that big, but on the field, you're like, yeah, that's an inside linebacker. So it was kind of interesting to see, and boy, did he play like one. And one of the things that we never really talked about Drew Sanders' game, because I think it's not what makes him great, is his coverage ability, and that's what was on display so much. So he had a pick 6 off of Ben DiNucci, which we'll talk about.
7-on-7.
Yeah, in 7-on-7, where he just did a fantastic job of reading the quarterback, understanding where the guy was coming in the flat, and just jumped it, took off. Would have been an easy pick 6. So he just did a great job reading the quarterback's eyes, understanding where the route was. But then the rest of practice, he just smothered every single route that was in the flat, every single route that came to him. He didn't really turn his back and have to run much in coverage, but everything that was in front of him, he was just fantastic on, sideline to sideline. Even had a couple of passes defended, broke up one where the guy had it in his hands right in front of him. He came in and smacked it out. That was the number one thing that stood out to me on the field, was Drew Sanders' ability, not just on one great play, but just as a coverage linebacker.
What
Awesome
are his Ring of Fame odds?
41%. How about
41%?
that? Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
I would love that. I mean, he just has all the tools where it's like if he works out, he could be really good. And
I feel like I
especially
said
on
something really wild about Drew Sanders, but I forget what it was.
That he has a 4.1% chance to not be a Ring of Famer?
No, I said
wow.
he's going to be better than someone.
Randy
who's
Gradishar?
really good.
Randy Gradishar. Huh. I don't know. Like he has the tools to fit perfectly in the modern NFL. Like there's nothing holding him back.
Yeah. No, it's so true. And that pick 6 was during 7-on-7s, but he was also making plays in teams. So I absolutely love to see it.
Were they tackling to the ground?
They were not. No. No.
That would have been
Interesting.
sick. That would have been so cool.
That will happen in training camp, though.
That's why I was curious.
Yeah. But that didn't happen. And then Sean Payton, we saw Marvin Mims. The very first play of 7-on-7s was a deep ball to Marvin Mims. Didn't end up in a completion, but I just love seeing it.
Was he open?
He had a step. Yeah. It was a diving catch, and he did dive for it. Hit his hands. Would have been a very, very tough catch, but didn't come down with it. But I just love seeing it.
Yes.
Why is Marvin Mims here? Because he's a playmaker, specifically a deep threat, but also a playmaker, and they go to him right away with that. It's not messing around. It's not making 83 Marvin Mims earn it on short things before he can go deep. So I just love seeing that out of the gate.
Yeah.
Did he have any comments on his number?
He did not. No.
He wasn't asked?
I don't believe it was asked.
Okay.
But
I'm pretty sure.
just given to him.
Yeah, just given to him, and that's all that matters. But outside of 0, like for receivers, there was like 83, 86, and 88 available or something like that.
That was good research by you.
Thanks.
My takeaway was like Sean Payton should have coach primed this. Like Lil Jordan Humphrey just can't be taking 17. Just because he got there first.
See, man, that's definitely a college thing.
For sure. I mean, the rookies just had no options.
And that's why I think they just gave him numbers.
Yeah.
They say like, okay, don't put any thought into this so you don't feel tied to it at all, because on like August 29th or whatever cut down day is,
37 numbers will open up.
yeah, there's just like 37 more numbers to pick from. That's when you pick your number.
Yeah. There's a lot of good numbers being taken up by bad players.
And that'll change.
Happens on bad teams.
Did you think 83 is bad? I thought that was the best of the bunch that was given out.
Hate it. I just don't want any wide receivers in the 80s.
I love it. Like 80 is the best numbers for receivers for me.
Yeah, for a small guy,
It's so
for a small
funny
guy,
how there's
like
an
a smaller
old man
number.
living inside of Henry's
yeah, it's
body.
very true. He's
And that's-
just
I think I do a very good job of knowing when I'm wrong and just not saying my thoughts.
it's only
It's only when prompted.
Speaking of, you said 88 was open. I wonder if they're going to retire that.
I'm in on that.
Yeah.
Best receiver in Broncos history.
I'm definitely in on that as well.
And
But
I'm-
just interesting.
Yeah, I'm generally anti-retiring numbers.
Yeah.
But there are extenuating circumstances.
Different case. Yeah, absolutely. Marvin Mims didn't really stand out in terms of making plays all over the field. Actually, if you want to play some B-roll of practice, I think there's some Marvin Mims just running around. Didn't make any incredible plays, but Sean said on Friday he was the one making plays among the rookie draft class. So you like to see that. A smaller guy and just some B-roll that Ryan Green, shout out to Ryan Green, got from practice. There's Sean Payton wearing the orange visor. The first time we've seen him on a practice field for the Broncos with Greg Penner there.
With a grout
and
fit?
George Payton as well.
Grout fits are sick.
What is a
Those are
grout
awesome.
fit?
A gray outfit.
All
Oh, yeah, the Vic Fangio.
gray.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He gets
he was the king of the grout fit.
the sweatsuit. Yeah, I just like the way that they had Marvin Mims running all over the field, as you see there. He's motioning, then coming back over, catching a pass. Dude, just absolutely perfect form in blocking on air, if you can even call that blocking.
I don't even know what that was.
But in this, you're probably like, wait, what was Greg Dulcich, number 80, doing out there? They had 60 guys at this thing.
Oh my
So they
God.
just had 60 numbers they had to give out. So don't be confused by seeing some odd numbers out there and think that doesn't look like Matt Hennessing, because it's not Henningsen. Thank you. And there's Drew Sanders right there. So the other guy, the other top pick for the Broncos, Riley Moss. We didn't see him make any big time plays, but man, does he have the size and speed needed? When you look at him, as he said after practice, he's like, "Oh, I didn't know I was the only white corner in the NFL." Just kidding.
That was great.
Of course, I know. But that's what stands out about him is you're like, oh, that's just a little odd seeing that. But his size and speed, it just looks like a normal corner. And there were a lot of people that were concerned, like, should he play safety? No. He looks like a corner.
I thought it was weird to ask him about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I certainly didn't ask that.
It's a weird one where it's like, I don't know.
There
I
he
feel
is.
like you
There's
give
37.
the answer at some point, where it's like, I don't know necessarily what the question
springy.
should be, but like once that question's answered, don't ask him again.
Yeah,
Like-
can we just completely put that to bed? I
Yeah.
mean, it's going to
Yeah.
come up in conversation, I'm sure.
Right.
But asking it to him is just so weird to me.
I know. And like I went through and
In like
read
a formal setting.
Yeah. I read a bunch of stuff from when he was at Iowa, and every one of them it has like a different quote from him about being white. It's like, yeah, because I bet every week somebody's like, "Hey, so you're white? What's up with that?" And he has to keep going, and hopefully that was like our one, and we can kind of let it breathe for a while.
So weird.
I mean, it's kind of like Bryce Young, right? Like he was asked about being short, and he's like, "I'm not gonna grow. Like
Yeah.
this is where I'm at." Like he doesn't need to be asked about it again.
No, because
Yes.
like what's it like being short? Boom, there you go. He told you. So it's like, have you grown at all? No, there's no update.
Yeah. No.
Short.
But he really did look big, and like he's definitely going to fit in there.
when we eventually have Riley Moss on this show, which I feel like is a good possibility.
Yep.
We should try to come up with like 17 different ways to ask him about being white.
That would actually be
A
hilarious.
gym rat.
That'd be hilarious. If we could just talk to him for like 20 minutes all about being white as like a bit.
One time, I came up with, so this is a really hard way to describe this story. Basically, I was working on the side for Vic Lombardi, helping him out with stuff.
Okay.
And he was doing an interview with River Craycraft. And so I came up with 15 questions that were actual football questions that involved river puns.
Wow.
It was awesome.
That's right up your alley.
Wow.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, big time. Riley Moss, by the way, great personality. I think Broncos fans are absolutely going to love him. Remember the mustache?
Yes.
that he had? Did you want to see that stay?
Hell no.
I'm very pro
you didn't want it.
mustache.
You're pro mustache. Well, his mom and girlfriend were very anti mustache. So he said it was kind of weird. He said, "Yeah, it's a weird phase for me in life." But
was.
mom
We all
and
saw it.
girlfriend hated it, so it didn't last for too long.
You can't go 0 for 2 in those categories.
No.
You
then
gotta
it's-
have one on your side.
Yeah, then it's got to go. Yep. If you
Yeah.
have one, which one are you choosing?
Girlfriend for sure.
Yeah, it's probably got to be.
Like
Yeah.
mom, you're just like, sorry, mom.
Get with the times.
Tough break.
Yeah.
But if girlfriend is anti and mom is pro, then like you can kind of use that. Like,
To an
I guess
extent.
my mom just loves me more unconditionally. than me.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
That could cause some further tension, probably.
Probably
If that happens, though, and you're like, well, damn, I got to make it up to my girlfriend. Or for Mother's Day, check out our friends over at FOCO to get some awesome gear for yourself.
Might even have fake mustaches.
They probably fake orange mustaches.
Ooh, yeah.
Maybe we get Riley on that train. And so many different. If you want to hide your face, you can get a little mini helmet to put on your head, which they maybe even have big helmets there that'll
yeah.
really hide your face. But they honestly have so many cool things over at FOCO. We're rocking a lot of things on the set. The bobbleheads behind us, the banners. You can get so many things like that over at FOCO. And the best place to get a gift. So check them out at FOCO. Use that code DNVR to get 10% off. Whether it's a gift for someone else, you're getting 10% off, or for yourself, use that code DNVR over at FOCO. Not just for Broncos, but all Colorado sports.
Hell yeah.
And get yourself some sunglasses from Shady Rays. I wore my sunglasses a lot this weekend in Wyoming. Actually,
Probably worked like double duty because they can block your eyes from the dust from all the terrible wind in Wyoming.
it was, which is weird because like I don't know. I think of like the 90% of Wyoming that's like just flat and nothing as what Wyoming is. But then there's like the little part where it's like, oh, the Rocky Mountains kind of go through this side, but it was still windy. Like you're still like surrounded by mountains and things. You'd think like, oh yeah, no wind here, still windy. Bullshit.
Because you're in a valley, right?
Yeah,
I don't
Can't
know.
valleys be super windy?
apparently.
Can't that be like a wind tunnel? Like in downtown, you're like, I'm blocked by all these buildings, but no,
There
it
is
just
that.
creates massive wind tunnels.
Yeah,
Yeah.
when there's wind, I think those just like amplify wind.
That's physics right there. For
That
you,
is
Henry.
physics.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's-
that is.
Yeah.
We need more of
In
that.
Chicago, oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, awful.
But again, like
One wrong turn ruin your day.
You know why
And
it's called the Windy City?
the wind.
Apparently not.
Yeah,
because of
not
that,
because
which
of the wind.
I think is bullshit. I
Yeah.
think that was a branding thing where they're like, no one wants to come here because we called it the Windy City, and
that's
everyone hates
true.
wind.
So it's about the politics in
Yeah.
the 1900s.
Bullshit.
But yeah, so they actually were very helpful against the wind. And obviously the sun as well. So if you need some sunglasses, then you should head over to Shady Rays. You can get 50% off with the code DNVR if you buy 2 or more pairs. And you can try for yourself the shades that are rated 5 stars by over 250,000 people.
Boom, there it is. Joint practices with the Rams is someplace that you are going to need sunglasses for. Out in Los Angeles, Broncos, the goal is to have joint practices with the Rams leading up to their final preseason game this coming season. Do you like that?
Not particularly.
This is the Los Angeles Rams that last year, when they were in joint practices, Aaron Donald, maybe the most physically impressive human in football or in the world,
everywhere,
was
yeah.
swinging his helmet at players.
Oh, shit.
So that's kind of what comes to your mind. You're like, oh, good, joint practices. Coaches like joint practices. Oh, maybe not with this team.
No one's ever gotten away with being a dirty player as well as Aaron Donald does.
What else does he do?
He just has a bunch of history of like things like that.
And the NFL, with that case, said, you are responsible for your own practices. We're not going to suspend or do anything for that. And the Rams were like, we're not suspending Aaron Donald.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
I do think, I think there's a real chance that Sean Payton would see that as a positive. Like, we kind of want to go up against these guys where it's just going to be like chippy and gross.
So he wants Quinn Miners swinging his helmet around at people.
I think he wants to see all of them develop from boys into men. And I think that's what this offseason is about.
Isn't that a band?
It is.
Boys to Men.
Boys to Men.
Yeah.
Do you think Sean Payton likes it?
No.
Boys to Men.
Yeah.
No idea what
I don't
their
know
music
either.
is.
It's like R&B.
Okay.
Oh. Huh. Well, that's another topic. But I do think that
Definitely is
like,
another topic.
you want it to be pretty heated. Like, I think one of the worst things that happened to the Broncos last year is they just kicked the Cowboys' ass for a day and then thought they were really good. You know?
Yeah. the Broncos are going to kick the Rams' ass.
Like, you don't want
Because
anybody in the
Rams are-
hospital.
Rams are garbage.
I hate that I've matured to a point where I just have learned that like you can't really take anything from training camp or joint practices.
Man, it's really true. It's really true. It could mean a trip to LA for us,
Yes.
potentially.
Yeah, boys go to
Yeah.
LA.
Yeah.
Eat some really good tacos.
And then we can cross
bad
that
place.
off of the list to go this season because we've already been there. You
True.
know, like we don't have to go to the Chargers game.
yeah, I mean we never were going to, but
Wow.
It's just gonna have enough Broncos fans anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's true.
But-
So
road joint practices cooler than home joint practices when you go.
that's a big key. When you go,
Yes.
yeah, or else you have excellent or extreme FOMO.
Yes.
not FOMO.
Yeah.
What was the last one? Vikings?
You're right. Yep, Vikings and then 49ers.
And again, there was like something that came out of those Vikings practices, and I was like, oh, and then it was just nothing.
Yeah.
That was Drew and Teddy. And I think Drew had like a great first
Yeah.
practice and then just absolutely like failed miserably the next day or something like that.
The number one example of how you can take nothing from joint practices was the very end of Paxton's last quarterback battle
Yep.
in San Francisco. Bro goes like 15 of 15 in
Yep.
a joint practice and
Yep.
team.
Yep.
Absolutely carves the 49ers. We're like, this just turned the whole competition on its head. If
This
he
maybe
goes out
turn-
there and balls
Yeah.
in the preseason game, he's going to win the job. He did not ball in the preseason game. He did not win the job. He's never won any job ever again.
Wow. Yeah, you're taking the Grinch approach to this one. Joint practices are stupid. Don't matter.
You can't take anything from anything until there's a game on the field.
It's really true. And so expect an official announcement on that soon. But Sean Payton was close enough with Sean McVay that he was comfortable saying that was going to happen. Something that's going to change about traveling. The Broncos. So typically, I think this is like with any sport or any team in any sport. When you go and play a game and you are supposed to come back right after that game, you come back right after that game. It doesn't matter if it's a primetime game and it ends at midnight and you're not getting on the plane till 2 and then you're not getting back until 5 a.m. That's how it always works. That's how it's always worked. Sean Payton's going to change that. He said primetime games, when they're flying away, if they're going to schedule to get in after 2 a.m., they're going to stay in that same city for an extra night. Then he said he's going to adjust the schedule that week to then give the players that following day off. And then everything's just going to be pushed back a day. And to me, I thought, wow, like actually being open to change and like helping your players' bodies recover after a game, making sure that they're getting a good night's sleep in a hotel room instead of getting in at 5 a.m. and then having to be in the facility at 9:30 a.m. To me, it makes sense. Now, who knows how much this is going to help, but I mean, it's like, oh, this is a sensible thing.
Yeah.
Yes. The one thing that I would tell you from players of other sports who sometimes stay overnight in cities is they're not getting a good night's sleep that night.
That's
true.
fair. That's very fair. Maybe Sean will be very particular to bedtimes.
I wouldn't
Or
be.
Club Dub will just roll right into the
exactly.
rest of the
Maybe
night.
that's what it's for. And he specifically pointed to the Buffalo game when they play Monday night in Buffalo.
What a nightmare
and
that would have been coming back.
That's also a Monday night game. So that means the Broncos are,
Get back Tuesday.
get back Tuesday, have Wednesday off, and then are in the building on Thursday for a short week. I mean, that's going to be very, very different.
Don't
Who
they
do
have
they
a
play?
difficult opponent the next week too?
I believe it starts getting easier after
Okay,
that.
all right.
But with beautiful. There's the
nice.
schedule. So the Chargers at home. So depending on
No. It's
you're right.
It's home to the Vikings.
on
Sunday night.
Sunday night
So you
football.
steal a few hours.
yeah, you get a couple of hours. So are the Vikings good?
Yeah,
I'd say the Vikings are good. They're not great.
they're like the
Are they-
definition of good.
Would
Yeah.
you rather play the Vikings or the Chargers? Take away like the history.
At home,
Yeah.
Chargers.
Yeah, I'd rather play the Vikings.
So there we go.
Shocker.
I mean, Justin Herbert is better than Kirk Cousins.
Is he?
At what?
Yes,
I
he is
a
better
year
than
ago
Kirk
I would have been
Cousins.
totally on the same page.
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins is like, he's good. He's I don't know.
They
Before he
both
was just
put
kind
up
of like
a bunch
a
of
robot.
empty numbers.
Pizza bet on who has a better season. It'll be obvious.
No, you can't do arbitrary bets like
Henry,
that.
you can be the judge.
I'll be the judge. I'll be
No,
fair
no,
and
no, no.
unbiased.
Ryan's the judge.
Oh, I won't be the judge.
Who's taking this bet?
I'm not taking an arbitrary bet.
Will you be the judge for Henry?
I'll be the
And
judge.
While you were gone, I took the
I'd
dumbest
love
bet
to
of
be
my
the
life.
arbitrator.
Great.
I thought
Ryan's the arbitrator.
I thought Kendall Hinton and Marquez Callaway were kind of like a 50-50 to make the roster, and somehow Zach convinced me to take Kendall Hinton in the bet, which I should not have done because I think it's a 50-50.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and you got the worse odds.
Yeah.
You should have gotten plus odds on Kendall Hinton.
Yeah,
He
it was
didn't even put up a fight. So,
No.
you know,
It was a bad day.
if someone's giving me, you know, Nuggets +4 tomorrow, I'm taking and running with it. I'm not trying to make it a fair deal for them.
No,
I owe you each a pizza. You just got to
That's great.
collect.
That's great.
that is true.
So
Because the new rule is the pizza has to be eaten together.
it has to be eaten together. I love that. Henry, are you gonna accept this bet? or
I'm
are
not
you just gonna
betting on
tippy-toe
Kirk
around
Cousins.
it? Wow. So you don't believe it then? Okay.
Also, it's
no,
not,
they're
I
about-
guess we see
they're the
where it
same
is.
guy.
Here, how about
Sure.
this? Who's
They're the
better,
same guy.
Justin Herbert and Keenan Allen, or Kirk Cousins and Justin Jefferson?
Oh.
Cumulatively.
Well, definitely Justin Jefferson gives Kirk Cousins that boost, and that's included in the bet. You know, he has Justin Jefferson.
Yep.
So that just shows how confident I am that Justin Herbert's better than Kirk Cousins, which is just crazy that this is even a conversation.
They're the same guy.
Last thing.
Oh, I'm so happy that Henry's back on the right side of history.
Well, two more things. The Broncos did 7-on-7s.
Okay.
They did 7-on-7s.
Yeah.
They did 7-on-7s
Oh, that was something
for
they
the
didn't
first
do.
time in a year.
The modern NFL.
Yes.
It's about throwing the football. Why not?
They did it, and it was like when you first saw it, you're like, okay, 7-on-7, type it in your notes, and then 2 minutes later, you're like, this is something I haven't typed in a year.
Yeah.
That they're actually doing these.
I, from a spectator standpoint, hate 7-on-7s
Oh, so stupid.
because it's just like
In terms of the
you just
spectators.
don't know what to make of it.
Yeah.
Right. Well, and then especially when we're doing our quarterback battles over the years, and you're like, oh my gosh, he just went 7 for 7 in 7-on-7s, and then he goes out in team and he's 1 for 4. You're
Yeah.
like, well, I can't even give him credit for the 7-on-7s anymore.
Right. It's just a weird thing. I actually understand the value of it from a practice standpoint, but I think this is why we end up having bad takes about things from training camp because
Yeah.
you're like, oh my God. Like, for example, like Marvin Mims had like 3 deep balls and 7-on-7 that he caught. And it's just like, well, yeah, the quarterback had unlimited time to wait for him to get open.
Yep. And that's come up a few times a day where it's like the 7-on-7 thing, like, yeah, it's probably good for them to do it. It doesn't mean anything to us. Like the
Right.
joint practices, like, it's good for them to do it, but like can't read anything into it from our side. Because again, like,
Which we will. Just
we will.
course.
That's
Of
what we're
course,
here
yeah.
to do.
have to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hopefully it's Russell Wilson going 10 for 10, not Russell Wilson scrambling like Paxton Lynch did.
Yeah. But that leads to maybe the most savage quote of all time.
And let's just hear it straight from Sean's mouth, because Sean was talking about Drew Sanders' pick 6. So the question was about Drew Sanders' pick 6 in practice and the plays Drew's been making, and Sean went out of his way with this comment. Here we go.
Yeah, listen. The draft class is all, made a number of plays. Unfortunately for Ben DiNucci, it was his first interception, and there was more to that interception if you looked at it. It was a good play by Sanders. It was right in front of Greg Penner, and I was telling Greg before practice how this Ben DiNucci was doing well, and so. I told Ben, I said, he owns Walmart, and if it doesn't work out here, there's, I'm sure, a greeting opportunity somewhere, one of his local stores. So, but it was a good play by Drew, good break. Marvin had a.
That's
I
good.
mean, as
set of plays
straight-faced as you could be saying it too. Oh
Literally
my gosh.
went 180 degrees out of his way.
Yes.
To just bury Ben DiNucci.
But
Yes.
again, like, I took that as, he must really like Ben DiNucci be doing that.
Yeah.
Like he must really like him if he's willing to go up there and say that. Like, if you don't like the guy, maybe you're just a complete asshole and you say something like that. But like the fact that they then went and signed him
Yeah.
to the roster, it's
Yeah, yeah.
he knew. He knew already
that
he
makes
liked
it
him.
better.
was-
Otherwise, like, wow, what disrespect to not just the player, but also like workers at Walmart.
Yes. Yes. You're right, Henry. That changed everything. So I screenshotted Zach's tweet about it, and I was just waiting for the announcement that the Broncos had cut Ben DiNucci.
Oh, wow.
So then screenshot that for a tweet, and then they signed him. I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, so it wasn't as bad.
And
I
it
went
makes it
the other
better.
way because, like, right now, it's Jarrett Guarantano or Ben DiNucci is your third quarterback. Probably on the practice squad, not the active roster, but your third quarterback. One of those guys is way, way, way more experienced than the other, and also handpicked by Sean Payton.
Yeah, it'll
Like,
be Ben DiNucci.
It will be.
So I mean, a great weekend for Ben. He had 3 days to prove himself, and Sean said how he was having a really good weekend leading up to that interception, and then maybe also taking some blame off of him for the interception, saying there were some other things going on with that.
No, I'm pretty sure that was just him trying to set up the fact that Greg
Yeah.
Penner was standing there, like as if people would have noticed that.
Yeah.
Do you think he actually told that to Ben?
Yes.
Could you imagine? You're a tryout player. And from what I understand about Ben DiNucci, he is a confident guy in himself. So probably not a typical tryout player, but a tryout player. And you just made a mistake. And you're like, shit, this is probably it for me. Like, not going to make the team. And then Sean Payton tells you that? Oh, my gosh.
Means he likes him.
Yeah, he tells you there might be some jobs open at Walmart for you.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
a greeter.
Because
Yeah.
the owner's right here. Like, you good connection there.
The dude was just like bawling in the XFL.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, my favorite part is that Sean told him that. I was like, oh, that was hilarious. Like, he loved the joke so much he
Right,
wanted
that
to use
he
it
went
again.
back
And he was
to
right.
it.
Like, it's awesome. It's
Yeah.
it's incredible.
Yeah, that was. Remember, like back in the day when like your friend would say something funny, then you would post it as your Facebook status.
Oh, right.
That reminded me of.
When he said that, I didn't tweet it live because I was like, he probably did not say what I just thought he said. And then so went back and listened to it, and sure enough, he
Yep.
said it. First thing I did was I sent it to you guys, and I was like, this is the craziest quote I've ever heard from a coach.
Yeah, he just buried him, dude.
He did.
But if you're throwing picks in 7-on-7, honestly, it's not bad. I will say, Ben DiNucci, low-key electric arm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fun to watch throw the football.
Yeah.
Is that it? Or do you think there's something there? With Sean?
I think that's it.
Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
So you'll have fun in training camp.
Shout out JMU. They love him.
Yes, JMU.
Mm-hmm.
Those were the biggest takeaways.
Also a great nickname, Gucci DiNucci.
Yeah.
I just
mean,
realized I brought up seeing the 7 moose in Wyoming. I did not bring up seeing Russell Wilson in the airport.
Yes.
More topical. I know
ultra
there's so many things.
relatable, normal guy,
Yeah,
Russell
he
Wilson,
is.
flying
Yeah.
commercial.
multiple
It was
times
crazy.
now, just happened to be spotted in the airport.
Yes.
Yeah. It was a weird thing where you're just like, yeah, shouldn't you take like a private plane or something? But then I was like, would I blow that much money on a private plane? No. It's like it's a little bit inconvenient, but he brought.
He has a private plane though.
owns
He
a private
owns
plane.
Yeah,
a
but you
plane
got
with
to
his
pay the
branding
pilot,
on
and
it.
you got to book a spot in the hangar out there, and then bring it back. Plus, Sierra the night before was in New York, and so you'd imagine that they used the private plane. So that's probably actually what it was.
You can then like charter private planes. I honestly think he's trying to be more relatable. I think that is what Russell Wilson is doing.
Okay, Henry, I need to know. Did he have that face on?
That face.
There
That
was
one that he had the whole Nuggets game.
oh no,
Did he look happy to you?
it was weird that a lot of people didn't notice him, but there was like a lady who 60s, I'd say 60s,
Okay.
and he was
Very
like
important
helping her
story.
like get her stuff up and like get those bins because it's the weird thing where the bin comes out of the
Wow.
thing. And I think it was a different lady. It might have been the same one. Sometimes they kind of run together, but after they got through, was like coming up and like looking up and like the look on her face made it very clear what was happening. She was like having the time of her life talking to Russell Wilson. He was like smiling, but like, I don't know, pretty standard airport security face. And the thing was, so he was in the other line
Interesting.
and we were in like the one to the right. And so there were like 8 people in front of me trying to get through like the scanner thing. And I was like, oh, please let me go through, like, just say what's up to Russ and like catch up. And not catch up with him, but catch up to him and be like, what a flex would that have been if I was like, hey Lexi, this is Russ. Like,
Would have been a good flex.
wouldn't
Yeah.
that be?
Now
Wouldn't
she
that
doesn't
be a
believe
flex?
you.
No, but the line went so much faster that there's no rushing through security.
So, slightly slight gap in stardom, but last time I was at the airport, I saw Jack White, Nuggets legend. Not the one from the White Stripes.
Yeah, no, that was my first thought again.
And we were doing the thing where we were crossing each other in the line every time we went around. And like every time I was like, should I say just like go Nuggets or whatever? But what ended up stopping me is like I didn't want other people to like bother him if I said something.
Right.
And so I would have felt like the same kind of pressure if Russ was there. I was like, if I say something, then someone was going to behind me. Oh my God. Like it's same thing happened to me at a Nuggets game when I ran into Tim Patrick. I was like, what up, Tim? And then like 14 people around top, they're like, Tim, that's Tim Patrick?
Right.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Exactly.
Tim.
Exactly.
I think Henry should have been just like jumping up and down. Russell.
You say, hey man, or what's up, brother, to me every day. Remember? But yeah, somebody asked like how big was the entourage? That's what I was gonna say though. Is like it's like $30,000 to charter a jet. He just has like that same security guy he always has around. Like when you're just buying the 2 tickets, maybe buy a third so you get the whole row. Like that really does save a lot of money. Not that he needs to.
Yeah,
but
I don't know why we're talking about saving Russell Wilson money. That definitely doesn't need to happen.
I don't know. I was gonna say I would, and I was like, I have no idea. Like I can't.
He
tell
had
you who I
no
would be with
issue
$250
going
million.
around the world in that private jet last year.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think and the money's only gotten better since the last offseason.
Oh, yeah.
$80 million in his bank account from August till now. I believe the money's fine. I honestly think it's a relatability thing. But you mentioned he was having the time of his life, or she was having the time of her life. Last person said that about Vance Joseph. He wasn't there this weekend. He was at his daughter's graduation, so congratulations to his daughter. But we didn't get to see Vance actually back in Broncos gear.
Yeah, interesting.
And of course, the Broncos haven't tweeted anything about him. So
I got to say, as someone who missed work for a graduation on Friday, I don't think people should be allowed to miss work for graduations.
why?
I don't think people should have to go to graduation.
That's what I mean.
That is your oldest
Yeah.
take ever, and it's like you're an
Really?
old person
I
saying that,
agree.
and it's so bad.
What I'm saying is like going to graduations is such a waste.
It's so boring.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
it is.
It's
It
dumb.
is. But like, you got to be there if it's someone close to you.
I know we need to
You
end
do.
that.
Yeah.
And it starts at All City.
Like what you should do is like, hey, congratulations on graduating. Like one time off work, let's go to a super nice dinner tonight.
Yeah. Like you go to the parties, the graduation
Yeah,
parties.
graduation
you don't go
parties.
To
Yep.
I'm not. Yeah. You just sit there, and it's like somebody comes and well, I guess it might be different depending on where you're graduating from. When you're graduating from Columbia Falls High School, the pool of people who they pull in to give advice, you get an interesting group.
So
As an adult, I don't necessarily need to hear
This is
them
like what
all.
I'm kind of talking about here. One time, someone told me, "Hey, the area where we're doing the ceremony for our wedding is full, but you can come to the reception." And I was like, "That's the nicest thing
gift.
anyone's ever done for me."
Exactly. No offense, Zach.
No, you guys have to be at the at the wedding in order to be at the reception. Don't worry. I think the over-under said like 14 and a half minutes.
Whoa.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I just put that out there right now, so maybe I'm blown away by the number. But
Oh, I'll be there.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll be there now.
So I've been to a wedding where there was a 2-hour ceremony,
No, no,
multiple languages.
Wow.
3.
Oh my gosh.
No.
No,
Oh.
there's no way.
Oh gosh,
That would
he
be
was
a-
from like a random Eastern European country.
Okay.
His family is from Mexico, so they did English, Spanish, and whatever. else.
Wow.
And it was like very religious, so you had to go through like all the things.
Dang, so you couldn't just go for the English part of it?
No, but I
yeah.
sat in the back row and watched an Avs playoff game the whole time, so I was all
Wow.
right.
Have you done that multiple times?
No,
That was the one. Okay, yeah, I've heard that story before. In a good way, in a good story. Yeah.
Yeah.
I just can't like. To me, if you're getting married, there's like a piece of paper you gotta sign. You know, that's kind of like how do you extend needing to sign a piece of paper into 2 hours?
You don't actually sign the paper at that thing either. Like,
What do you-
during that ceremony?
My sister did
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I've
Interesting.
never seen
because
that
I was
before.
the officiant.
Yeah.
Or whatever.
Yeah.
And I had to sign it too. So like right after
Oh.
the ceremony ended, we like went over to a table and signed all the papers.
Yeah, but
Wow.
see, after the ceremony,
Well,
it was like right after.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah, exactly. So
Okay.
not even during.
Well,
Yeah.
So you pronounce them man and wife,
yeah,
and they were not.
and then
No.
they kiss.
I'm pretty sure they even need to like file that for it to be official too.
Wow. Again, we're just
I don't
getting
know.
old man Hank.
But the
takes
whole
here.
thing is just kind of I don't know. It's confusing.
We went to
me.
weddings, but really it's about graduations.
Also bad.
Way worse.
Yeah.
That's very true. Way worse. I agree. Even your own graduation sucks.
Yeah. Especially if you don't know if you're going to
A
graduate.
new thing that I saw at this CU graduation I was at on Friday is the kids just left after their name, which
Probably smart.
was what I wish I would have done.
Yeah. But honestly, at
But
that
then by
point,
the end, the people who are last are just like in an
by
empty
themselves. Wow.
in an empty gym.
That's depressing. No one cares about him.
Yeah, tough.
Speaking of people caring about us, got a couple super chats.
Let's
Kevin
go.
Locke says, "You guys are awesome." Wow.
You are
Kevin?
too, Kevin.
That's the nicest thing
One of
anyone's
the
ever
few
said to
people
me
in the
today.
Locke family who feel
Exactly.
that way.
Yeah,
Say hi to
that's
Drew for
very
us.
true. Isaiah Slow Talker, legendary name, says, as a first-gen student who's also indigenous, I really appreciate graduation ceremonies and family who can make it, but 2020 didn't allow that. Oh,
Yeah.
no.
Well, he made me look bad. At least in my defense, so it's like a 2-day thing at CU. Again, just
Really?
like make people take 2 days off of work.
Oof.
And so I told him it was like sleeting for my outdoor graduation at Folsom Field for like the whole class.
Yeah.
I just told my parents, don't come.
Yeah.
And they didn't.
Yeah.
So, but you gave them that
Yeah.
off the hook.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, what if it's important to your kid? You're just gonna say nope.
No, I will go
Yeah.
unless, as a society, we
Unless
wise
you're
up to the
working
fact
that
that that's a waste.
Yeah.
Celebrate after.
Wow, you are so savage. More savage than Sean. Dang.
Sorry.
Brutal. Are we sorry that the show's done?
Is it done?
I don't think we have anything to apologize for. It was pretty good.
It was a good show. It was fun.
Do you
Learned
have
a
any
lot.
no comments on the website?
I didn't say anything bad.
I don't think we have time.
Oh,
So we can
okay.
get to them tomorrow.
All right,
We can
sounds
get to
good.
them tomorrow. So drop your comments that you had on this show for tomorrow's show, and we will get to them. And we'll be breaking down the Centura Health Training Center press conference.
Oh my God, I can't wait.
Just kidding. We probably won't be.
All right. Love you guys. See ya.